Well, unfortunately, they didn't run Dustin Rhodes and Jack Perry off. And again, poor Dustin. He's a foot taller. He's 50 pounds heavier. He is a real talent. He's amazing at this age still. He hadn't won a match in 3 years that anybody's seen in his company. And we know he's here just to put this Jack over in a ladder match qualifier. Oh, another way, we think suddenly Dustin will catapult himself after all these years of, being wallowed in obscurity, will catapult himself into the pay-per-view over the elites. Yeah. And their break spot was Dustin was after a minute, was Dustin was bleeding and Jack had taken a backdrop on bare concrete because they'd pulled the floor pads up and Dustin's bleeding of buckets and I don't know what the fuck. I skipped to the finish, which was Dustin is selling. He's rolled in. He's barely beat the count. He's disoriented. He's losing blood. And referee Aubrey Edwards, good old Aubrey Ed, helps Dustin to his feet and then almost like a heel referee turn for no reason, turned to the right and walked to the ropes and just turned her back and was looking out at something that wasn't there so that Jungle Jackoff could kick him right in the balls. And then she turned back around and was like, oh, nah. And then Dustin is kneeling there, having been kicked in the balls, and he's selling, and then Jungle Jackoff is over in the corner, standing there looking at him, and Dustin looks up at Jungle Jackoff and gives him the finger. And Jungle Jackoff runs at him, and Dustin kneels there giving him the finger, watching him run at him, and he knee lifts him, boom, and beats him 1, 2, 3. If he had the energy to give him the finger, couldn't he just rolled out of the way of the knee lift? Why are all their finishes not only phony looking, but they make the baby faces and the referees look like total idiots? Explain that one to me, Lucy.
As soon as Dustin came out, I was like, oh, Dustin's going to lose another match, and now it's the Jack Perry. And then once you saw them in there, the size difference. And again, not everything, I'm not saying everyone has to be a giant person, but Jack Perry's shorter, and he doesn't have much muscle or much mass, or he just seems like a little guy doing moves. I mean, when I looked at his arms and his weight, like just everything in there against Dustin, Dustin should kill him, unless he's a black belt. Unless somehow they introduce the fact that he knows how to kill people.
And then somebody can point to say, okay, well, at one point, the Ricky Morton wrestled the Barbarian. And here's another thing.
And he wrestled like it, and that's how he wrestled, like Ricky Morton wrestling the Barbarian, having to evade him, having to do everything he can, not to hit power high spots on him or anything.
Yes, and also, Ricky Morton knew how to work. And but nevertheless, that's what happened there.
But I don't think it's working. Again, the audience there reacts a little bit to him. They're not even really reacting hard to this. We've already heard some fans chant CM Punk, but that's been a minority of the AEW audience that we've heard so far. But since they aired that video and brought him back and put him with the Elite who are hamming it up in what can only be called a comedy stable, a heel comedy stable. It's like Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. It's a heel comedy stable for anyone in on the bad humor.
And if you're not in on the bad humor, then you're out.
Yeah, I don't think it's working, but we'll see.